There are three structures of the diencephalon, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the epithalamus, and all three enclose the third ventricle and are composed of gray matter. And you can see these structures here. You see the thalamus, which is the largest, the hypothalamus up here, which is connected to the pituitary gland, and the epithalamus in the back, which has the posterior commissure and the pineal gland. The thalamus is a bilateral egg-shaped nuclei structure that forms the superior and lateral walls of the third ventricle. It's connected via an interthalamic adhesion, and it has lots of nuclei that are named for their location. And these nuclei are going to send and receive fibers from the cerebral cortex. And 80% of the diencephalon is the thalamus. Um, should you know all of these named structures? Not necessarily. It's lower, moderate yield. It's tested sometimes. You should know that these come from the thalamus. So if you hear something with these names, geniculate bodies in particular, or any of these regions, you should be able to place them in the thalamus. A hypothalamus itself is below the thalamus and it forms a cap over the brainstem and the inferior and lateral walls of the third ventricle. And it does have several nuclei of importance. One is the mammillary bodies, which are paired anterior nuclei that help to relay olfactory or smell stations. It's also connected, as we've learned some, to the pituitary gland via a stalk called the infundibulum. And the hypothalamus, it forms, like I mentioned, walls of the third ventricle. It has lots of important functions to control homeostasis, like controlling our autonomic nervous system, physical responses to emotions, body temperature, so thermoregulation, feeling hungry or full, regulating water balance and thirst, sleep-wake cycles, and endocrine function. The hypothalamus has a neuroendocrine function because of its connection to the pituitary gland via the infundibulum or the stalk. There are neurons that are located in the paraventricular region and the supraoptic region, so paraventricular nucleus and supraoptic nucleus, that then send action potentials down their axons to the posterior pituitary, and they release the hormones that they create, like oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin, into the bloodstream. Our epithalamus is the most dorsal, and don't worry, we'll talk a lot more about the connection between the hypothalamus and pituitary gland when we talk about the endocrine system. So it's coming. Um, the epithalamus is the most dorsal portion of the diencephalon, and it forms the roof of the third ventricle. It contains the pineal gland in the body, and this extends off the posterior border. It's this tiny little blip. And the pineal gland's claim to fame is to secrete melatonin to regulate our sleep-wake cycles. Um, Melatonin secretion is regulated by or stimulated by darkness, and it really is important to help us kind of regulate our circadian rhythm, our biological clock.